Hey everyone. In this video, in honor of Halloween, I want to talk about fear. Specifically, how you should feel fear but choose to act anyway. This is basically how you conquer fear in the easiest way possible. A lot of people view fear as this emotion that should be avoided at all costs, and that when you feel it, you should run away from the thing that's making you experience it. And this isn't what you should do if you want to live a great life, because there are very normal things that will make people have fear responses. We used to only have fear responses to things that actually threatened our life, like turning a corner and running into a saber-toothed tiger. That makes sense. That's something that can actually kill you. But nowadays, people are afraid of things that pose no threat to them whatsoever, like public speaking. That fear stems from us caring way too much what other people think about us, because obviously our life is not in danger. And likewise, a lot of men have the fear of going over and talking to a woman they find attractive. Yet again, that's a situation that doesn't threaten their life. So quite often, we allow fear to stop us from doing things that could benefit us. In the case of giving a speech in front of a bunch of people, if you give a great speech, it teaches you awesome speaking skills that you can then use later on in life to further your career. And if you're really good at it, you can become a public speaker. I mean, I'll be honest, I did really well in speech classes, and that's why I'm so easily able to speak to a camera as if there's an audience there. So it's a good skill to have. And also, in the example of men not talking to women they find attractive, this is a huge one, because so many men miss out on potentially great connections with women just because they're afraid of getting rejected, or afraid of looking like a fool if she rejects them in front of a bunch of other people. But here's the thing, the man who actually has the balls to go over and talk to her is immediately elevated from all the other men around who may make fun of him if he gets rejected for it. They may be laughing at him, but they don't have the balls to do that themselves, so their opinions don't matter. So this is why it's so important to feel fear, but choose to act anyway. Because when you get down to it, there isn't really a way to stop yourself from feeling fear besides just encountering the stimuli over and over and over again until it no longer has power over you. Like when you're afraid of public speaking, you just give a ton of speeches and eventually you become desensitized to the fear. It becomes a normal thing for you and it no longer has power over you. That's why you should feel fear but act anyway. Because when you keep acting through it, then you start training yourself to no longer be afraid to the stimuli. You desensitize yourself to it. And, not to mention, that's what true bravery and courage is. The bravest people out there still feel fear. They do. They're not immune to it. They just choose to act anyway. That's what makes them brave. I mean, I'm sure a lot of firemen are a bit nervous before they go into a burning building because they know it could potentially end their life. But they choose to act anyway. That's why we call firemen brave. And in the case of Halloween, like today, I remember when I was a kid, a lot of children were afraid of going to the scariest house on the block because it was scary. They had a lot of great decorations set up and a lot of spooky sounds and that sort of thing to try to scare children. And because of their fear, they wouldn't approach the door to get the candy. So the brave and the courageous kids who were able to feel their fear but choose to act anyway got rewarded with candy. Whereas the ones who bought into the fear and walked away from the house, they got nothing at all. They would return empty-handed from that house. And this is why it's so important to just feel fear but choose to act anyway, because the rewards you get from it are almost always worth it. And not to mention, most of our fears really aren't that bad, as I explained before. So there's really no reason you should let it stop you. It's not going to be a life-threatening situation, for the most part, unless you're hiking in the woods, in which case, if you feel fear when you come across a mountain lion or a bear, that's justified. Just remember to act intelligently afterwards. But in most cases, our fears aren't anything to worry about at all. So always remember, feel the fear, take a few deep breaths to ground yourself, and then choose to act anyway. Anyway, I hope this video helped you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Arrivederci!